In this video, I finish up the peach farm by adding a house where the farm owners live. I wanted the house to have side paneling and saw this really good design by Chapman. I really like his use of alternating tiles and ingots to mimic panel sidings, so I used his designs for my house's exteriors and windows. The actual house is loosely inspired by this building here. This house was on the property of one of those pick-your-own apple orchards that my parents took me to when I was young. It's no longer an apple farm, and I believe they're growing corn now. It's not a one-for-one likeness, but I took the overall shape, entrance, and sunroom on the side. I also omitted the window that overlooks the sunroom. The house isn't meant to be one of those perfect Instagrammer homes, but rather a house that looks like it's lived in. There's small stains and cracks here and there, and puddles and moss growing on the roof. There's a nice garden and flowers surrounding the house, but it's not a perfectly landscaped botanical garden, but rather a well cared for and loved hodgepodge of plants and flowers. Something like you'll see just walking down a normal street. Connecting the house to the driveway is a gravel path and another path that wraps around the house, which connects to the driveway to the existing path to the barn. In the real house, the deck is in the front, but I moved it to the back and modeled it after a friend's deck on their house. It's a great place to have a barbecue and chill, or watch the younglings work while you enjoy beer. I went through a few iterations in building this house. For example, in my initial version, the house had another column of windows at the end, but I felt it made the building too large, especially looking at the building from the back, so I removed it. The house is fairly large, but I don't want it to look like some huge mansion. There are a few trees that border the house. I found these trees on Rebrickable for free. Links in the description. There are some large poplar trees by the barn and some oak trees beside the shed. I actually heavily modified the oak trees to be larger than their original design. I needed to make them larger so they were at least as tall as the house and that the crown of the trees feels like they could provide a nice shady area of the garden. Hey, I mentioned this before, but I don't like flat layouts, but rather have height variations. In this section though, I also don't want jagged mountains, but instead have gentle rolling hills. The house is on top one of those rolling hills, and I envision a winding driveway having to make its way up the incline. There is a somewhat steep drop-off at the edge of the driveway initially, but I'm planning to have a grape vineyard in front of the house, so the slope will become significantly shallower. I also intend to have a parking spot off the main driveway here. This is to allow trucks to offload cargo and to allow any cars parked in front of the house to do a 3-point turn so they can go back down the narrow driveway laneway. I also found this truck and SUV from Bricklink for free as well. Links in the description. From a personal standpoint, I found building the steep section of the hillside was a bit tedious. Maybe there's a better way of doing this, but trying to randomize the slope pieces and at the same time trying to maintain an overall slope angle was a very long process. While I liked the final result, it was again pretty tedious. Extending past the end of the driveway is this little dirt road which leads to a maintenance shack where I imagine the farm equipment lives. A few people are working on the equipment, while in the back, a mother and her child are caring for some small plants in a little work area I set up. These tractors are official Lego builds, but I'll probably remove the large red one once I fill in this section in the future. I'll probably fill up this open area with smaller trees and maybe a small vegetable garden that the family uses for their own personal use. The area in front of the driveway is going to extend further downwards, but on a much more gentle slope, and it'll be covered by a wine vineyard. So I'll end up moving this entire farm section up again a few inches, and the main road will be over here someplace. That's it for today's update. At the time I'm making this video, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to build next. I have plans for an old mill, but one that's been converted into a museum, so it'll be a mix of the original old mill architecture, but some modern elements mixed in. I also want to fill in and create the actual wine vineyard that neighbors the peach farm. Thanks for watching!